Alright, welcome back to James Pigeon. So if you saw my last two videos, I'm currently doing a series to very quickly profile every sitting governor in the United States in 6-state increments in rough regional boundaries. So I'm going east to west, well, north to south, I'm kind of whatever, unimportant. I've done New England, I've done the Mid-Atlantic, so now we're doing the southeast, basically, southeast coast of the United States. So, all right, let's just begin. The first this is the governor of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger. She has only been serving since earlier this year, January 17th, 2026. In fact, so there's not a lot about her, but she is a former CIA officer from 2006 to 2014, and then she was a congresswoman who represented Virginia's 7th congressional district, which is in the north of her state. She is a Democrat. Virginia being historically, the heart of the South, kind of. I mean, the Confederacy's capital was in Virginia, but now a lot from the influence of the northern part of the state becoming a lot more Democratic and is almost just becoming a blue state at this point and not even purple. Anyway, again, she has been in office for only a few months, so there's not a lot to say about her, but she's basically just a kind of bland Democrat who supports affordability, talks about affordability a lot, housing, and stuff like that. She is very pro-choice as well, and she delivered the Democratic response to the President's State of the Union address, so she has kind of become a national figure a bit. Anyway, moving on, the current Democratic governor of North Carolina and the last Democrat for today is Josh Stein. He has been in office since only 2025. He is a lawyer who went to Harvard and Dartmouth. He is also Jewish, and he is from Washington, D.C. So he is not the most traditional Southern politician. He is educated in the Northeast very heavily, but he was the former Attorney General of his state, and he worked in a bipartisan effort to negotiate settlements, and which were trying to curb the opioid epidemic, which is a big issue in this part of the country. He has relatively high approval ratings, usually consistently in the low to mid 50%, which is pretty good. But he we'll have to see more about what he does. All right, so moving on, the Republican governor of South Carolina is Mr. Henry McMaster. He is one of the longest-serving governors in the country, having been the governor since 2017. He was previously a lieutenant governor under Nikki Haley. He was also the Attorney General from 2003, and he was the chair of the South Carolina Republican Party since 1993, and he was actually a district attorney for South Carolina since 1981. He is 78 years old, and he has been a figure in South Carolina politics since the Reagan administration. The Reagan administration. In terms of his tenure, he has been pretty Right wing, I mean, he is pro-life. He tried to make a 6-week abortion ban. He is pretty much, actually not that much of a fiscal conservative, as he tried to get funding for infrastructure from the president. He is a strong pro-gun guy, and he is pretty anti homosexuality and LGBTQ issues. He previously opposed allowing openly gay men to be hired as teachers in schools, which got him some notoriety. All right, moving on. The Republican governor of Georgia since 2019 is Mr. Brian Porter Kemp. He is a Republican. I think I said that. He is born and raised in his state and a graduate of the University of Georgia. He is 62 years old, which is pretty young for this high level of politics. And he is known for, obviously, in the 2020 election, which is controversial because of the false claim from some very hardline Republicans that it was stolen, and a lot of that had to do with Georgia, so he received some pushback from the president over his handling of that. In terms of his actual policies, he has just been pretty mildly right-wing, trying to get economic development mildly in support of President Trump. He has a decently high approval rating. So yeah, just a pretty boring guy, to be honest. Not really a national figure. All right, next, speaking of national figures, we have the current Republican governor of Florida, Mr. Ron DeSantis. Yeah, he is a Republican. He is only 47 years old, and he has been the governor since 2019. He is known nationally for being very, very aggressively right-wing, very Catholic, very kind of representing a branch of the Republican Party that was previously mainly based online, but he kind of helped bring it into reality. He's one of those guys. He has been basically, yeah, just a national figure for using Florida, which, as the years go on, is just becoming more and more of an uncontested red state as a policy testing ground for the kind of very hard right policies. He had a big showy dispute with Disney over something because they're quote unquote, like woke. He has did a lot of stuff with schools about trying to restrict information about homosexuality. That's like a big thing. He is against climate change. Not that he wants to stop it, but that he doesn't really think it's a big deal. And he is very against abortion. So he is basically just a very dogmatically hard-right figure, and he is a national figure. He unsuccessfully tried to run against Trump, and then Trump shut him down. He called him too right-wing. So you're cooked if Trump is calling you too right-wing. And he was kind of laughed off the national stage, but he is still kicking about in Florida. And then finally, we have Mrs. Kay Ivey, who has been the Republican governor of Alabama since 2017. She is 81 years old and has basically just been in Alabama politics for a while. She was the treasurer since 2003, the lieutenant governor since 2011. She was a Democrat until 2002, and then when Alabama became a Republican state, she just switched up. She got kind of controversial for doing blackface in 1967, but that's not really a big issue that anyone really cares about. She banned removing Confederate monuments to protect them. During the COVID thing, she was quite loose in her restrictions, which got a bit of infamy. She is not really well known for her protections of the environment, and she made it so there's guns in the schools, and she made a constitutional carry. So she's just a very right-wing kind of person, and, you know, I mean, basically that. She's just an old Baptist, Southern 80-year-old politician. Not really much to say about her. Sure, she's pretty uncontroversial in her home state of Alabama. Anyway, that was it for today. Thanks for joining me. And next time I will be covering the lower Midwest, or, you know, like the old Northwest area, Ohio, Wisconsin, Illinois area. So I'll see you next time, and goodbye.